President Lee 2021 continues to announce signs of another year of mourning, killings, and auctions across the Republic of Cameroon, most especially in the northwest and southwest. That has been going on for over 3 years now. Today morning, 6 persons were killed in a locality known as Bachwa in Babaju in the west region of Cameroon, few meters into the northwest region of the country by gunmen yet to be identified. In the early hours of today, this series will coming few days after an attack on the convoy of a senior administrative officer left 5 Cameroonians killed. We shall also be telling you that after the campaign launched by Cameroonians on social media asking for their national identity card established to be distributed, the delegation of national security in Cameroon has reacted. What are they telling us exclusively in this edition of the news? We shall also be giving you exclusive images on the scene of the attack in the west region of Cameroon, few meters into the northwest regional chief town, and of course the voices of those who were there and heard the sounds of the guns in this edition of the news. Other interesting stories will be yours. Thanks for staying with us. You are on to the prime time newscast coming up live from Cameroon's economic capital city, Douala, Equinoxe Central News Desk. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. I'm for me, Armstrong Sunday. We begin with one of our top stories. 6 persons, among them 4 security officials and 2 civilians, are said to have been killed in an attack in the early hours of today at a locality known as Bachwa. Bachwa is in Babaju in the west region of Cameroon, few meters into the northwest region. They were killed by gunmen in the early hours of today. The gunmen, according to our reporter Simad Njikan Gabriel, are yet to be identified. He got the voices of local inhabitants, those who at least got the sounds of the guns in the disturbing morning.
At the control post of Bachwa in Babaju, West Region this Friday, the zone has been deserted by those who usually do business after an attack. Signs indicating a gun battle occurred could be seen on a stationed tanker. A private vehicle, and on the ground, bloodstains are still visible. A witness recounts.
4 minutes to 6, we heard gunshotting. We were very, very surprised. But we are very, very happy here that our children, our wife, our brother, that they are going there to do their small business to achieve something. Because of this crisis, none of them is wounded and none is dead, except the military and the tanker driver and the motorboy.
Gunmen were reported to have attacked those at the control post early this Friday morning. As a result of the attack, 4 persons died on the spot. 3 security officials and 1 civilian who was the driver of the tanker. Later on in the day, amongst those who were taken to the hospital, 2 died, bringing the total to 6. 4 security officers and 2 civilians, the driver of the tanker and his car aide, fondly called Motorboy. This attack, occurring in the west region of Cameroon, is coming some 48 hours after the northwest region witnessed 5 persons who died in the convoy of the senior divisional officer of Momo going to install divisional officers recently appointed by the head of state.
And in Kumba, in the Kmer division of the southwest region of Cameroon, it is an uneasy calm that reigns in the city following the discovery of an improvised device that was discovered at a newsstand close to the police station, which is the central police station in Kumba. According to Kumba city dwellers, it was dropped in a bag at a newspaper stand. Semad Jikan Geber takes us to Kumba.
An improvised explosive neutralized in Kumba, chief town of Kmer division, by a specialist from the Rapid Intervention Battalion Force B. The explosive that could have done damages if it had exploded was dropped around a newspaper stand in Kumba. The owner, noticing the strange bag, reported to Commissioner Wilson Jume of the Central Police Station.
This is a testimony that they are there to secure the whole population. They should continue to collaborate with them because they are there for them and they will be permanently available for them. Just we keep informed the forces of law and order, and they are going to react. Today you are now happy, you are enjoying. You remember what happened in Bangui 2 days ago. It was true, this kind of activity. But here in town, they try their best and have this result today. Once more, congratulations to all those forces of law and order, and also the population who are permanently collaborating with them.
The improvised bomb was neutralized tactfully without any injuries or material damages recorded. The Civil Administrative Authority of Kmer calls for more collaboration between the population and security forces.
I will continue to use this opportunity to advise the whole population to effectively collaborate, because security is not only for us, force of law and order, and the authority, but themselves. They have to play their own games. It is necessary because look, the damages they could register if they succeeded to do what they have intended to do. But unfortunately for them, our forces of law and order are doing their job.
It is the first case of an improvised explosive dropped at a business place in Kumba since the new year started.
The discovery of an improvised device that was neutralized by police forces in Kumba was placed at a newspaper stand close to the Kumba Central Police Station. Cameroon has lost 3 places in the world ranking of the World Press Freedom, an annual ranking for the year 2020. President of Cameroon, the nation is ranked 134 out of 180 countries where journalists are attacked and press freedom almost dead. The SNJC in Cameroon, that is the National Syndicate of Journalists in the country, described the ranking as not surprising, while Peter Isoka, president of the National Communication Council in Cameroon, on his part says Reporters Without Borders have exaggerated on the ranking that pushes Cameroon three steps behind. Details with Innocent as
In its 2020 annual World Press Freedom Index, Reporters Without Borders ranks Cameroon at the 134th position out of 180 countries. Published on Tuesday, January 5th, the index sees Cameroon occupying the 134th position, 3 places down from the 2019 index. According to this ranking, Cameroon recorded 37.38% abuse score, 43.17% underlying situation score, giving a global score of 43.28% with a 0.04% difference with 2019. In 2020, at least 5 journalists were arrested, tortured and detained for covering the CRM nationwide peaceful protest called for by Professor Maurice Kamto. Amongst them was Nouvelle Expression newspaper journalist Lindovin Dio.
J'ai été interpellé dans le cadre professionnel.
I was arrested for merely doing my job.
Whether a protest is banned or not, the journalist has right to cover it. This is what our defense and security forces do not understand. I was locked up for more than 48 hours without any arrest warrant and later released after receiving severe torture.
On a décidé comme ça là de me libérer après m'avoir torturé de cette manière-là.
However, the classification of Cameroon, according to Thierry Eba, president of the Cameroon Journalist Trade Union for the Center, does not surprise anyone.
On n'est pas très surpris de ce classement.
We are not surprised with the ranking. We know our governments and their impunity on journalists. In 2020, we witnessed journalists arrested, their disappearances. Our authorities need to sit up and eradicate all barriers to press freedoms.
En 2020, et c'est tout à fait.
In reaction, the National Communication Council says Reporters Without Borders exaggerates in its findings on press freedom in Cameroon in 2020.
Rapport qui n'a pas traduit exactement.
Peter Esoka, president of the National Communication Council, says laws governing communication give the press in Cameroon all its freedoms and independence. This, he says, does not mean the press has to grow wings.
Ben, ça ne veut pas dire que si tu es libre et tu es indépendant, ça veut dire que tu devais bafouer tous les règlements d'un certain ordre.
The National Communication Board cautions journalists to always verify all information before dissemination and help to defend Cameroon's integrity, even with criticisms that will not tamper with the peace, unity and stability of the Republic, adding journalists have to be patriotic too.
Certaines choses de la République. Il faut être patriotique aussi.
Some journalists incarcerated in prisons across Cameroon include Paul Shuter, Adamu Ramoke, Aldabe Iyol, Kingsley Njoka, Mancho BBC, Thomas Awa Jr., Wawa Jackson 4, and a host of others. Whereabouts of some is unknown.
And not a good ranking at all for Cameroon, which shows that press freedom is gradually dying in Cameroon and journalists are constantly being attacked. Cameroon instead losing places on the World Press Freedom Classification chart, unfortunately. And now we talk something else. Our new movement has been launched on social media across Cameroon. Hashtag I want my national identity card. The movement, mainly on social media, is aimed at pressurizing public officials in Cameroon to provide national identity cards, at least those which have already been established. Charles Kmer tells us more in the following report.
Cameroonians have launched a new movement with the hashtag I want my IDC. For some, they have been waiting for the original copy of these documents for years, while others have been waiting for months. A document which is, however, essential for every Cameroonian citizen. The concerned persons have made this problem public on social media. Today, the hashtag is followed by thousands of internet users, amongst which are political actors who have instigated this issue. The case of Anne Fegonde-Noir, spokesperson of the PCRN political party of famous politician Cabral Libi. She has invited compatriots to copy and paste the hashtag on their walls so as to put pressure on administrative authorities with the objective of putting an end to the suffering and decry of the people. The message has been widely followed and shared by Cameroonians in all peripheries. Honorable Cabral Libi has joined the movement, as well as Pierre-Emmanuel Binyam, Frank Essi, Serge Espoir Matomba, just to name a few. Some internet users have gone to the extent of showcasing statistics with analysis that more than 80% of Cameroonians are confronted by this problem, and without a national identity card, it is impossible to issue a passport, or better still, a voter's card. The hashtag I want my IDC has undoubtedly permitted many Cameroonians to share their frustrations, sufferings and predicaments. For some, the temporary receipts issued to be used before the original copy is out is illegible, and those who have lost this document consider themselves prisoners in front of every police control. It is now primordial for the government to hear the decry of its people.
And shortly as the movement goes viral on social media, the police and the body in charge of establishing national identity cards in Cameroon has reacted. We shall be coming back to an extract of the delegation for national security in Cameroon, but we present to you part of the communique that was published few hours ago in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. It says that following the dissemination of certain information concerning national identification documents, particularly the national identity card and passports system, individuals could obtain national identity cards in Cameroon in order to commit crimes. Individuals national identity card, I beg your pardon, which permitted them in order to be easily identified anytime a crime is committed in Cameroon. However, the police says that the new system put in place has been working, and they went further to indicate that some already established identity cards have not been taken. We shall be coming back to details on the contents of the documents released by the police in Yaoundé in subsequent editions of information on Equinoxe television. But now we'll take you back to Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon, to say that the Anglophone crisis has also affected persons with physical disabilities. Some with challenges hearing are also recounting their difficulties and their hurdles living in an environment where security is not certain. Mbustela tells us more.
Madame Kwa never knew her daughter, Blessing, was deaf until later as she grew up.
I was almost running mad. I just took it that maybe with time she would talk, she would hear. But as time went on, nothing improved.
Growing up in Bamenda, a town hit by the socio-political and security crisis, has been challenging to Blessing and traumatizing to her parents.
When I was moving on the street, I heard a strange sound. 3 times I got the sound, and I ran. I discovered that it was a strange sound. I saw so many people running, so I stood and I didn't know what to do.
Communication is not really flowing well because mostly when I want to advise her, to teach her about herself, to teach her about the developments that are developing in her, genetically, biologically, should know her menstrual period, all those things. But when I want to discuss such things with her, it is really challenging because she will not get some words right.
Blessing's mom, like most parents, only discover at a later age that their children are hearing impaired.
Before this, we used to just allow the baby to grow up until the baby may not be able to speak, which will know that the child cannot hear, and then we think of hearing deficit.
Ambo Shootstar Blessing aspires to become a secretary. For her dreams to become a reality, the Form 4 student says signing should be made compulsory for all, as persons with hearing impairment are most often neglected. There is now hope for children born with hearing impairment. The Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services has provided 4 hospitals with auto-emission equipment that enable early detection of any hearing impairment for newborn babies.
The health facilities are there to attend to the population that comes. And the population that comes needs services, needs effective services. And so we've seen that in some of the facilities, they do not have what it takes to offer quality care to the population. We want to ensure that we have services that meet the needs of the people.
Professor T. Pius, director of the CBC Health Services, says the service is free of charge and parents should take advantage.
And we take you to something else, back to Cameroon's economic capital city, Douala, to say that a gang of fraudsters specialize in terrorizing inhabitants of the Douala 4 subdivision have been apprehended by elements of the police in Bonaberi, Douala 4. Immaculate Fogo has the rest of the story.
The hideout of a gang of 5 drug addicts who are in their 30s, dismantled by elements of the Public Security Police Unit in the Douala 4 subdivision. The gang is specialized in the fabrication of fake banknotes and the commercialization of hard drugs. After being informed about the activities of the gang, we immediately stormed their hotel premises in Bonantone. One of the accomplices, alias Dester, who is on the run, is wanted by the police because he committed murder. They operate in Dedo, Aqua, and sometimes in Bonamusadi. The different bags found in their room contained cocaine, blades, and sleeping concoctions which they use on their victims. The different security operations launched to the Douala 4 subdivision is meant to reduce high crime wave ahead of the African Nations Championship. We received firm instruction from our hierarchy to make our area safe. This is meant to ensure the smooth involvement of the African Nations Championship. The Gang of 5 have been transferred to the regional police headquarters.
And the police say most of these young individuals involved into acts of the underworld are drug addicts consuming hard drugs like marijuana in Cameroon. The question is where they get it from, and a vast plantation of cannabis has been discovered in Buda in the west region of Cameroon. The owner of the plantation is said to be on the run, but those who work with him were apprehended by the National Gendarmerie. Charles Kmer takes us to Buda.
A vast cannabis plantation of about 1 hectare was discovered in Guanya, Buda subdivision, west region of Cameroon. This discovery was made by the elements of the gendarmerie forces in Buda as investigations had been opened by the commander of the brigade as a result of complaints of the local population. This led to the arrest of a young man by name Chofo Cedric, who was apprehended transporting bags of these illicit products. We doubled our efforts and operations in the area, and during our operations we got hold of this individual with 3 bags of fresh cannabis. We proceeded with investigations and made this spectacular discovery of about a 1 hectare cannabis plantation. The proprietor of this plantation is still on the run, but his accomplice made a full confession.
Do you know what you are transporting?
I know that this is cannabis, and I know it's a drug.
And do you know it is prohibited?
I know it is. The proprietor of the farm warned me about this. If I denounced him, he could have killed me, and that's why I kept calm and remained silent all this while. Now it's time for the police to see what to do. I am just a farmer on this plantation. This is my job.
Bon, c'est la police de juger et voir ce qu'ils peuvent faire parce que moi, je suis tout travailleur. Ils cherchent comme un job.
As time goes by, the West region is gradually becoming a zone for the production and consumption of drugs, notably in the Noon and Bambutus divisions.
The city mayor of the city of Kumba in the Meme division, southwest region of Cameroon, Gregory Mewano, has promised to put smiles on the faces of Kumba city dwellers. Gregory Mewano made the declaration after he took the oath of office at the court premises in Kumba. It should be recalled that he was voted several months ago, but the swearing-in ceremony was delayed due to a tussle for the Kumba City Council, which is still going on, and he took the oath of service recently in Kumba, as some of his promises for the city of Kumba were captured by our correspondent in Kumba.
Of the council and serve the interests of all its inhabitants. I am actually very, very happy. Happy why? Not for me myself, but happy for the fact that the population has at last today an answer to their question that they've been asking, why up till now we had not done the swearing in. I am happy because the population, the Kumba community is calm now. They are swearing in, they are swearing in, I say, because we are being sworn in to serve them. So their swearing in is done. It is not going to end all questions. There are still going to be questions. That's what I always told my councillors, my fellow councillors, that we shouldn't be bothered about that. We should, of course, be patient, give the courts enough time to do their job and do it judiciously, and they have done that. We have all seen. So I think all of us are happy, and we just say thank you. We can continue executing our duty now, of course, with the coverage of the judiciary. It's a wonderful thing. It was also said in court, putting the smile onto the faces of the Kumba people, which has been away for quite some time, for many reasons, like we all know. We will do everything, myself and my team, the first and second assistant, of course, the mayor, Kumba 1, 2, and 3, but then most especially the councillors.
On our foreign news page, we take you to the post-United States presidential election battle between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And also in Africa, we shall be taking you to Ghana and Uganda. Details with Innocent.
In Ghana, there was chaos on the floor of the country's parliament on Wednesday as legislators voted to choose the next speaker of the 8th parliament of the 4th Republic. Some members of the opposition, National Democratic Congress, disputed the election of the Speaker of the 8th Parliament, leading to several commotions in the House since inauguration of the 8th Parliament started.
What a day in the history of Ghana's politics.
After calm was restored, an opposition MP was elected Speaker of the 4th Republic.
So the military men are moving out now.
That is the way to go. The military has no place in this at all, not even the police.
Attacks against members of the press by security forces are said to be on the rise as Uganda counts down days to its general election. Most journalists covering opposition candidates and anti-government protests have been arrested, beaten, or had their equipment confiscated or destroyed by the police. One press freedom watchdog says it has documented over 100 attacks since November last year when presidential nominations were held. Activists say security forces have enjoyed impunity for crimes against journalists. Accrediting journalists has also been a problem, as some complained that their accreditations have been rejected after presenting all necessary documents. In the United States, the U.S. Congress early Thursday formally confirmed the election of Joe Biden as president a day after a mob invaded the Capitol in a chaotic effort to avoid having President Donald Trump confirmed as the loser in the race. The affirmation came after the House of Representatives and the Senate in two separate votes in both chambers overwhelmingly rejected efforts by some Republicans to object to the acceptance of electoral college wins for Biden in Arizona and Pennsylvania. President Donald Trump had vowed he will not concede defeat, claiming fraud in the 2020 presidential election. Trump demanded his supporters Wednesday to march towards the Capitol in protest. They breached the building while Congress was certifying Joe Biden's win. The protest resulted to 4 persons killed. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden termed the violent protest as assault on democracy, calling on Donald Trump to make a live TV address to demand an end to this year's world leaders, including former U.S. Presidents Barack Obama, George Bush, Bill Clinton, French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The EU Chief of Diplomacy Joseph Borrell have condemned the attack on the US Congress by pro-Trump rioters, accusing outgoing President Donald Trump of inciting violence.
And now is Talking Points coming up. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us on Talking Points. Ladies and gentlemen, we are receiving a political analyst. We are receiving Lola Blashus. Thanks for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for me, Sandra. Good evening to all the listeners of Equinoxe TV. Happy New Year to all Cameroonians, Africa, and the world at large.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Mr. Fomi.
And we're happy to have you. Well, 2020, it's a new year. We are 8 days into the new year, but apparently, with all signs we are having from the Anglophone regions of Cameroon, it's not given reasons to believe that it's going to be a better year. We're having signs of a year that is going to be dramatic if things were to continue on this same pace. We're having signs of a year that is going to push more people to cry, more families to cry in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Few days we had the attack that saw the killing of 5 Cameroonians. Today we are having 6 persons who died few meters into the northwest region at actually the control post to the region.
Yeah, Mr. Fomi, it's actually a pity. It's really a pity for us to be still listening or hearing things, killings everywhere, especially in the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon. Meanwhile, some of our leaders, some of our government ministers, even the President of the Republic, they are up there saying that everything has come down to normalcy, for which killings is going on every blessed day and night. So to me, I also discovered that with the government of Mr. Biya and his regime, it is like they celebrate killings more than even birth. That's the killing of Cameroonians and more than even the birth of some Cameroonians. You know, it is in Cameroon that we discover that when a man dies, it's not news, and when an animal dies, it is a great news that you will see even some state media would try to publish it and so on. It's really a pity. This year was supposed to be a year of achievement, reconstructions, but it has started in a bad way or in a bad footing. That we pray, we are really on our knees, all the Christians in Cameroon and the men of God, we are really on our knees praying that it shouldn't, what happens in 2020 shouldn't repeat itself in 2021. And while praying, we are also praying that the head of state, in particular, as the #1 person in Cameroon, should really take things serious, should really love Cameroonian, should put Cameroonian first before any other thing in his life, because if he puts Cameroonian first, I believe all these things could have already ended ere long. You know, I remember a word from a great president. I call him a great president, Donald Trump, because he used a word that always touched me: American first. And if you are a president, #1 citizen of a nation, and you put your citizen first, it means you really have good plans for those people. But if in our own country, our own leaders cannot put our citizens first, they instead of Cameroonian government, or instead of the leaders to put citizens in Cameroon first, but they are instead putting a single individual first.
What do you mean by they're not putting citizens first?
They are not putting citizens first, Mr. Fomi. If they was putting citizens first, I believe that a citizen or a Cameroonian that will fall or that will die will be a call of conscience. It will be something that will really push the head of states or even some of the government members to really see how they can go down there to the northwest and southwest and put an end to this madness. It is madness because every blessed day, statistics shows, Mr. Fomi, that every day we can count even at least 5% died every blessed day.
Are you saying that the crisis, the necessity for them to find a solution to the crisis should be because people are dying? Should it not be? What about the need for a problem to be solved? We are having thousands of persons dying. Of course, as of the last statistics we had from international non-governmental organizations, we now talking about over 3,000 persons that have been killed in the north and southwest regions of Cameroon. But the government has a way of solving the crisis. It says it's on a track and it's been solving it. You want to talk about things that the government officials have been highlighting as the government's strategy in resolving the crisis that they believe is going to provide solutions.
What strategies, Mr. Fumi? The government that has been solving crisis for more than 4 years, going to 5 years today, and the thing has not come to an end, then you say the solution. What the strategy? What kind of strategy?
Because because when you say a Cameroonian who dies in the Anglophone region should be another reason for the government to go in. The government says yes, it's okay, but it's been going in. The government officials will tell you like what measures so far that you already know that will not have to be citing here, as in the measures taken by the government, which to some other people are not the right measures though, but the government believes so much in those measures. If we are seeing the crisis, probably you should be talking on the measures, saying that they are either wrong or they are right or they are not being applied aptly.
Mr. Fumi, if you are a leader and you discover that there is a way that you are taking to solve a crisis, and you have been trying all strategies, or you have been putting 1 or 2, 3, 4, and it's not working, you should also listen to the people. I believe what the people have been proposing for the government to do is not what the government is actually doing. You know, the government believe that it is either their ideas or no other person. Because I believe the civil society, they have greater idea to solve the crisis. The civil society, either they are proposing good ideas for the government to grab it and see how they can put an end, but the government believe that only their own idea will be put on decks, and it is not working. It is not force working.
Now you are an analyst. You are an analyst, a political analyst. When we had even before the message of President Paul Biya to the nation on the 31st of December 2020, we had some sort of calm in these regions. Some relative calm. We did not have these reports of people attacked, people killed, and this sad news. Now, when the president's speech came up and he said, okay, government is going to continue in the line of effective decentralization, in the line of seeing the realization of the PPRD, the line of seeing the special status and so on. The president, shortly after that message, we had some Cameroonians who were of the opinion that things are going to get bad in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon out of that message. But when you analyze that message, analyzing the affairs in Cameroon, what to you can explain the current rise in confrontations and killings that we are observing in the Anglophone regions as of now, or say into the new year 2021?
Mr. Fumi, if you are a leader, and a leader who have your people in heart, you're a leader who have the love of the fear of God, you have the love of the people, you know, the way the President of the Republic is handling these things, I came to realize that he is one of those that are provoking the people, because each time he came up with his speech, it's something must happen. So if you can discover that for 4 years today, the president has been giving speech, the president has been proposing or giving whatsoever that he thinks that is the solutions of the crisis, and each day he come on TV, and the next day or the next week, people will die, then you can now change your strategy. You can now change your way of approaching the people. You can now soften your heart of talking to the people. If you don't have the fear, if you don't have the love of the people, then, because each time we Cameroonians will discover that each time the President of the Republic will appear on the TV, people will die. People will die. That's from that day. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you will hear of people dying, because it is provocative. It is provocative. People cannot be crying, and instead of you to climb, or instead of you to come on TV on screen,
are you attributing the recent killings or the rise in tensions to the public,
to the end of year speech? Because the end of year speech is not good enough for people who have been suffering for 4 years. The end of year speech did not even touch even somebody like me. It did not even touch me. The end of year speech is instead a mockery to the people. When people are dying, what we need to do is love. We need to love one another. We need to feel the pains of others. Because if there is no love, there can never be peace.
What do you mean by mockery? The president did not ignore the Anglophone crisis.
He did not ignore. Then was that a solution? He did not ignore the Anglophone crisis, but it wasn't a solution to the Anglophone crisis.
What would he have done or said, or what did you expect from him?
So
Mr. move forward into a better year 2021.
I came back from Yaoundé. That was yesterday, from Yaoundé, that's from Kondengé. I was in Kondengé. I went and visited some of the inmates, some of the prisoners. Mr. Fomi, you will discover that if you go there, you will discover a lot of things and you will shed tears. I even followed some of them to the military court because some of them was being judged. Was that yesterday? No. I mean, that was on Wednesday. I was there with them. If you are a president, I believe some years back, the president, during his end of year speech, he always at least grant some freedom to some of the inmates or some of the prisoners. But this, for 4 years back, he has never done anything like that. Well, what is happening? Is it that he hates the Anglophone or he hates Cameroonians as a general, as a whole, that he don't want to free them? People have been crying, free the Anglophones, free all the prisoners, those that are concerned, that are concerned with the crisis, free them, so that these things can come, people can come to the table and solve the crisis.
We are living the stage very soon, but you seem to be attributing the responsibility to resolve the Anglophone crisis solely on the governments of Cameroon. We
solely on the president of the Republic of Cameroon and his government, not only the government of Cameroon, the president as the head, as the #1 citizen in Cameroon. He holds a knife and a yam to see how he can put this thing to an end. So if he is not doing it, it means he doesn't have the will. He doesn't want Cameroonians to live in peace. If he is the president and he wants to be the president and he wants the people to love him as their president, he should be able to do what the people want. He should be able to listen to the people, to listen to the grassroots, so that there should be an end. They should put an end. Listen, now we are now very soon we'll be receiving some international countries as far as the African nation concerned. Now there's insecurity everywhere. Where are we heading to?
And of course, it's a responsibility that is double. We understand there are two parties in the armed conflicts in Anglophone regions of Cameroon, but we've not got all the time to talk about it. Thanks very much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you. God bless Cameroonians and God bless Equinoxe.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your keen attention. Still with Equinoxe Television. Shortly after this newscast, we shall be having Equinoxe One.